What's up everybody, not Peter McKinnon. Okay, thought it would be funny to do that intro and appropriate too because we are taking a look at the Peter McKinnon Nomatic backpack. So I fell in love with this backpack when I first saw it over at Vid Summit. I got to try it out, check it out, and it checked most of the marks of what I've been looking for in a backpack. So what I ended up doing is I backed the Kickstarter project. I got the bundle package, which comes with all of the different bags and accessories, which we'll go over in a second, but I'm pretty pumped about this. But without further ado, let's go ahead and see what's inside my bag. Now, this is not going to be a full review. I haven't had the chance to actually use it in the real world, mainly because we are currently on lockdown, but I do want to show you what's inside my bag and how I plan to use it. If you guys want to see a full in-depth review, I will leave Peter McKinnon's video linked down below. He goes more in detail. Like I said, this is just more of a quick overview and what's inside my bag. What I really like about this backpack, obviously it's a beautiful backpack, the design, the texture, everything is just awesome. But what really sold me when I was at Vid Summit and why I pulled the trigger and ended up buying this is the actual feel. Like when you actually wear the backpack, it has these aluminum stays on the back that just help with the support, and also the padding up here is just very comfortable. You don't really see this in a lot of backpacks unless you're using those backpacks that are meant for like hiking and stuff like that, but this is actually one that I just felt really comfortable and I really liked. Like I said, it was one of those things where I was just sold. Kind of like when you go on a test drive and it feels good when you're driving the car. That was basically it with this one. There's also other little cool things and little features that you'll see throughout. Like I said, I'm not gonna go over in detail on all of them, but for example, if you're carrying luggage and you have the handle, you can slip the handle in between here. That's actually really nice. There's also another brace that goes for your waist that you can actually detach. I don't actually have it, I don't plan to use it, but it is nice that it's there because I know a lot of people do end up liking that. But let's go ahead and dive right in and I'll show you guys how I have everything laid out. So what I really like about this backpack is that it's very spacious. Like for example, this is the main camera compartment area. And I'm gonna show you guys how I would probably normally pack it. So let's start off with the camera. So normally I would probably take the EOS R or now the 1DX Mark III, which I'm actually using right now as my top cam, but let's just pretend I'm using the EOS R. I actually have the 5D Mark II in here, but the lens, there's two lenses that I take with me. One of them is the 16-35 f4 because it has image stabilization. So you guys know Canon doesn't really have cameras with in-body image stabilization as of yet. They do have like EIS, but the 16-35 is a great lens that I always carry with me. It's also really good for vlogging. And then the other lens that I bring with me is the 24-70 f2.8. So this is a great lens. It's actually one of my favorite lenses, and this allows me to cover all of my focal ranges anywhere from 16 millimeters all the way from 70 millimeters. Now, if I am carrying, let's say for example, the 1DX Mark III, there is no ND filters. Like for example, the EOS R has that little built-in ND filter adapter that you can buy. So typically I carry some ND filters. So I use the Peter McKinnon Node, not because this is a Peter McKinnon backpack. I've actually been using these now for a while and I love these ND filters. So I'll bring the Peter McKinnon ND filter. I usually just carry the 2-5. There's another variation, but this is the one I really like. And then it's 82 millimeters. Now, because the 16-35 is a 77 millimeter, I do have step-up rings, but we'll talk more about that in a second. So yeah, that's basically my camera setup, two lenses. And in terms of audio, I have the Rode Video NTG or Video Mic NTG. This works really great. It's small, it's compact, portable. Love the fact that it's USB Type-C to charge it, and the battery life literally will last all day. I also have a little air blower, my little rocket air blower to clean all of my lenses, any dust and stuff like that. Now I do carry one light. Usually this is the light, or this is my go-to light. It's the Bowling P1. I've talked about this in the past. This light always comes in clutch. I personally like it over the Aperture little M9 light. It's just a beautiful light. It's very powerful. It will last a long time. Also USB Type-C. In fact, the other day we were filming a little movie and this came in clutch. We were on set and we needed a light for the furnace, and it was a small little area, and we were able to put this in. It has little fire effects. This came in clutch. I never leave home without it. In fact, I just did a video recently of items that are camera accessories that I don't leave home without. This is actually one of them. So this comes in with me everywhere I go. Now this compartment here, you can buy a little accessory pack and it looks something like this. So normally this would slide right in here. It fits perfectly fine. If I had to do it over again, I probably would not buy this, mainly because, I mean, it's a nice carrying case. It's like 50 bucks and it does have you know, this area for additional storage or compartments, but the way I see it is I'd rather have quicker access to my stuff than having to open this up. But don't get me wrong, this is nice, but I probably will not be using this. Now, if I don't want to use the Rode Video mic, I also have or bring with me my Sennheiser AVX MKE2. This is a lavalier mic. In fact, my last video, I ended up using this with a 16-35 with the 1DX Mark III. That setup ends up working really well, especially because when you use like a shotgun mic like this, it's always directional. So if you're vlogging and if you want to move the camera around, usually lavalier is going to sound better. And I also use this guy right here, which is a switch pod, which actually fits perfectly in this little compartment. So I always bring this with me. Now on this other little small compartment over here, I bring my red toolkit. I never leave home without this one. This is just a must-have. And I also bring just a set of earbuds. I've been recommending these earbuds, I wanna say for the last 7 years. They're like 20 bucks, at least when I was promoting them back in the day, they were like 20 bucks on Amazon. They're wood, they freaking sound fantastic. They look great. They might be a little bit more now because of inflation, but these are my go-to earbuds that I bring with me. And then also because it's been raining a lot lately, I will bring a rain cover, which is actually cool because it does, at least the kit that I got came with a rain cover. So I'll kind of bring this in here. And the reason why I keep these items here is because on the side of the backpack, there's a quick access port where you're able to grab the camera without having to open up the backpack. And also, I'll have access to my red toolkit, which is something that I would use often, or even my earbuds or the rain cover. So I really like that, and I keep that on this side on purpose. Now let's talk about this Q pack, which I think is kind of a huge thing. I would highly recommend this. So my methodology behind this here is if I go to a hotel room, if I go to a place, I can quickly just take this out of my backpack and I can leave this in my hotel room without needing it. So this is stuff that stays behind and I can just close this up and now I have all of this room and just the essentials that I need with me. So just really quickly here, because I have these. So these are just extra dividers that I keep with me. So you can pretty much form them and place them however you want. So again, this is just the way I would set it up. You can set it up however you want, but this is just how I would do it. So let me just move this out of the way and show you guys this Q pack, which I think is really awesome. So as I said earlier, I don't mind leaving this in the hotel room. So what's inside this Q pack, you may ask? Well, I'll show you. So basically stuff that are meant for a computer, backing up, chargers and stuff like that. So for example, normally I don't really bring my MacBook Pro charging brick. I actually bring this one. This one's from Mophie. I really like this because it also gives me additional USB ports. It also has a 6100 milliamp power bank. And my favorite feature, check this out, if I turn it on and if I put my iPhone here, wireless charging. So check this out. I can literally just set this aside, wirelessly charge. That's pretty dope. And it charges just by me plugging it into the wall. I also have my cable for my MacBook Pro. I bring the charger for the camera, which I don't really need to bring with me because I do have additional batteries, which I'll show you guys once we get back into the backpack. I bring my Nex 2DI. This is kind of like a NAR box. I've already done a video on this. It basically allows me to back up all of my CF Express, SD cards, micro SD cards, and I have over 4 terabytes in here. So that's kind of cool. If you guys are interested in watching that video, I'll leave it linked down below. I also, because I got the full accessory kit, it came with this little SD card holder. Now, these are SD cards that I normally don't bring with me because these are just extra. In fact, none of these cards I really use unless I'm using these particular cameras. For example, I have XUD cards, so I'm only gonna be using these if I'm gonna be filming with Nikon. I even have this one, which is a compact flash card. I mean, I do have my 5D Mark II in there, but normally I don't really care to have these. So these are just like, consider them like spares. I don't really need to carry these with me. And then I'll bring, like for example, a CF Express or SD card reader, whichever camera I'm bringing with me inside. And then again, a bunch of other cables. I love my little Nomad charging cable that I use for my iPhone. So here's another little power bank that I have. So this saves me in a pinch. I can literally just plug this in to my iPhone and then it'll begin to charge. So this always saves me in a pinch. So I like having this if I'm in a hotel room. So this is kind of nice. But otherwise, this is basically it. This is what I carry inside or leave in the hotel room. But what I really like about this backpack, let's just say once I take all of these items out, this actually transforms into another backpack. So this is kind of dope. If you haven't seen Peter McKinnon's video, this is just an additional small little carrying bag that now you can take with you on the go. So you can actually, let's say for example, if you don't have these items, you can put a drone inside, you can put additional accessories, and now you have this little small backpack. If you're gonna be going around town, you can put like snacks, accessories, things that you buy. So this is kind of nice. I like having this, or even if you fill this up with other things, you can carry your big backpack, and now this becomes like a carry-on also. Normally you're allowed 2 bags. So I like this. This is just kind of a nice little add-on that you can have. So I recommend it. I think it's like an additional 50 bucks for the Q pack. I would definitely get this because I think it's worth it. So now I got everything packed in here. Now, technically I could put all of these accessories over here on this side. There's plenty of room, and then I can just leave this open for clothes, even though this does have a closed compartment, which I'll show you guys in a second. But as I mentioned, I do like this little setup. It just makes it a lot easier, and it just gives me that additional storage too. Now let's scoot this over and I'll show you this side over here. So this compartment here, and everything that you see here is made for this bag. So for example, these are this is the filter case that fits perfectly in this bag, and I do like that. And that was one of the reasons why I ended up getting all of the accessories. Again, you don't have to take any filters with you, which means now you have all of this additional space. But normally if I'm gonna be using the 1DX Mark III, like I said, I do carry filters. I also have, for example, a couple of black Promise filters that I carry with me. I do like that, but here's like the step-up rings that I have. So this is the 77 to 82. There it is, 77 to 82. And then I also have a 72 to 82. So I always try to get the largest diameter, and usually with the L lenses, it's gonna be 82. So these filters fit perfectly fine, or perfectly inside. I also have a polarizer that I carry with me. So this is the filter side of things. And then over here, remember I said I don't have to really worry about batteries. So this is kind of neat. This has, or you can get this as an accessory, a battery case. So you get 3 additional batteries on top of the one that you're already carrying. And I'll tell you, with 3 extra batteries, plus the one that's already on your camera, it'll last you all day. Now, something that I thought was kind of cool is, for example, this was actually included in the bag. Kind of thought it was cool with these little stickers. So for example, let's say I pull this one out, it's dead. I can flip these around, and it has this little cool sticker here, a little Peter McKinnon logo, and then I could just flip this aside. So now if I open this up, I know that this one's dead. I don't know, I thought that was pretty clever. I like that, that's pretty smart. So this is the battery case. It does fit Canon LP, and then also the Sony, I believe the NFZ or something, FZ100. But yeah, not the large 1DX Mark III. So if I was carrying the 1DX Mark III, technically wouldn't even need this, although the 1DX Mark III, the battery size is literally like this big. And then in terms of SD card, so I actually prefer this one, even though I already got the other one. So like I said, I use that as a spare, but this is the one I'm gonna carry with me. This is the Polar Pro. This is more rugged. I believe it's water resistant, and I can carry my CF Express cards here. I can carry SD cards, and if I'm flying a drone, I have micro SD cards. So everything is literally here. It's just much easier, or smaller too, to carry. And like I said, I like the ruggedness. So these 2 items are the ones that I would carry with me, and then I would just leave the other SD card holder in the hotel room, because that's more of a spare. Now, this is probably the area where I was a little disappointed. So there's another compartment here where you can actually put, and I'll show you guys. Now, I normally probably would not take an iPad Pro, but I just use this so you guys can see that an iPad Pro will fit. You can fit an iPad Pro, but it stops right about right here. So it doesn't go all the way inside, and I'll tell you why I'm a little disappointed with that, because normally I would want to put my laptop inside here. Now there is a dedicated laptop compartment, which I'll show you guys in a second, but personally, I like my laptop to be in a more secured area. So the biggest or largest thing that you can fit here is probably gonna be, like I said, an iPad Pro, or a very small, maybe like the 13 or 12-inch MacBook Pro is probably the largest that you would be able to fit inside. And I'll show you guys the laptop compartment, but otherwise this is the main camera department. And then let's just show you guys the clothes, and I'll show you guys the laptop in a second. So let's go ahead and open up the front of the bag, which will give us access to the closed compartment, which is actually pretty spacious. They say that you can actually pack for 4 days. I think realistically, it's gonna be more between 2 and 3 days, depending on how much clothes you pack. There's this mesh material, which I do like. It allows the clothes to breathe a little bit, so you can put some socks, some underwear, some t-shirts. It's got a lot of room. I do like the fact that you can also pull this and expand the bag, so it gives you about a little bit extra room. So this is kind of nice. This is definitely welcome if you're gonna be carrying a lot of stuff. Now, I probably won't be using this much, but it is nice to know that if I do plan to travel for a day or two, I don't need to carry additional luggage. Now let me show you the laptop compartment, which I don't think it's a deal breaker, but that's probably the area where I'm just a little bit more disappointed. So as I mentioned earlier, this is not a deal breaker by any means. So the laptop compartment is located on the side, which is fine. In fact, my 16-inch MacBook Pro fits perfectly fine. Great, I love it. And this is not a bad area, don't get me wrong. However, they did something really cool with this backpack. At the very top, you'll notice, this is the backside, which is the camera compartment area. There's an area where I can put my own lock. So have you ever seen those little small TSA locks? So I can lock my camera compartment, which is fantastic. That means nobody will have access to it, unless they break the lock, of course. Same thing goes with the clothes. I'm able to lock my clothes. However, in the laptop compartment, there's no way to lock it, which in my opinion, if somebody were to take my bag and if I had to give something up, I would say take the camera, take all the accessories, but my laptop, which has my personal information, I don't want it quickly accessible where somebody can just take it out, if you know what I mean. So I feel that was an oversight on their part, and they should have made enough space where the iPad Pro would normally go so that you can put your laptop inside. I don't know why they limited the space. Maybe it was a reason to hold more stuff inside. I don't know, but I don't like the fact that my laptop is accessible. That is the only thing, like that was probably my biggest complaint with this. But like I said, not a deal breaker, but that's probably my biggest complaint about this bag. My name is Armando. Thanks again for watching, and you will catch me in the next one. Adios.